welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, all right. Hello, and welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Happy Wednesday. It's a chilly day here in South Florida today, but not nearly as bad as everywhere else. You go up north, and they've got crazy winter storms. Talking with my dad up in Ohio, they are going to be lucky to get to 24 degrees today.
Ooh.
And that's a warm-up from, I think, where they were yesterday. That's too much.
That is too much.
Yeah, that's miserable. And then you look at the news, and man, California is going through it, especially Los Angeles with the fires that are going on there.
I can't believe it. I mean, it is just out of control.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. One person texted in and they said, the big issue going on out there right now is they're running out of water.
Oh, my gosh.
Whoa. And Erica sent in a message. She said, the news says that the fires are burning 4 football fields a minute.
And you said they dig out stuff to block that fire eventually?
Yeah, I remember when, because I lived in Fresno for 2 years and would go down to Los Angeles frequently and up to San Francisco because Fresno's terrible. And as I was going back through, you go kind of up through I think it's the San Gabriel Mountains, if I remember right, or it's through Los Angeles County, you would see they would dig out fire lines, which would hopefully be long enough. But, sometimes fire will jump over a highway and things like that. And so that's what they were always trying to do. You would see that you knew that the fire season was coming. They got their dry season where it just never rains. And they don't get a lot of rain ever anyway. And so that's their big problem, is dealing with those fires. And even with doing that, they still had issues. So you're trying to take away all the food that the fire wants. And if it, it's not going to burn dirt. So if they hit that, then that's a lot better. But it was fascinating. I said, earlier on the regular show too, I was talking about when I had gone to Montana and saw that the little kind of metal lean-tos that they would have for the firefighters, because you'd be out there. And that's the problem in Los Angeles, the winds. They're talking about gusts of 60 to 100 miles an hour with some of these. And then that's just blowing the fire. So if you had even a large cut of dirt, it would
blow right over it.
Yep, exactly.
It's blowing over highways.
And when I was in Montana, they were telling me that the firefighters there, you would have the same kind of thing. You're fighting a fire and you've got the water and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden the wind changes and now it comes after you. And I think they were saying the fire can move at like 80 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And so they would just get to it and they'd run under these lean-tos and then the fire would go over top of them.
Fire monster.
Yeah, it's what it's like.
I know you guys don't follow him a lot on social media, but on TMZ right now, it really breaks down like moment by moment what happened before Spencer Pratt lost his house.
Okay.
And you see him like in his backyard, kind of at first joking about it.
Yeah.
On the TikTok, he was joking about it. Mm-hmm. And then it started to get more serious. And then it started to get more serious. And now his house is gone, but it's like documented.
3 football fields per minute, bro.
That is scary.
Yeah.
Is that the stat you said?
I think it was 4.
4.
That's okay.
Shit.
That's okay.
4.
We've had I'm responsible for a lot of bad facts today too. So we're all trying to get it. It's tough. I started off great this morning by not knowing what the hell bucket trucks and front loaders are and all that bullshit.
A bucket truck is a cherry picker.
And then you had Virginia on your ass like a fire monster.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, I was just trying to help you, but boy, you were like, no, bitch, sit down. I was like,
you
all
weren't
right.
right either. You weren't right either.
Go back and listen.
You said it was a bulldozer, and it's not a bulldozer.
Well, it's closer to a bulldozer than it is to a bucket truck.
I'll give you that, but you're not right either. Don't go over there and tap dance
front
like you had it
loader
right.
and a bulldozer are adjacent.
But that's not the same, though.
It's not, no.
It's so different from a bucket truck, it's not even funny.
I hear you, but you're not right. You can't go over there and you're right now crowning yourself as I am the right and true one.
Listen back to the show.
He
That's
does.
all I would
I
tell
know
you.
what we said. I'm never going to listen to it again, but I know what was said.
Also, you look like a fucking maniac right now. What is on your head?
This is the most amazing thing ever. If you're ever going to have a facelift, let me tell you, get one of these. This is a sling with 3 different spots where you can tighten it, And the big thing about like after you have plastic surgery, you have swelling. The swelling hurts.
Yeah.
So you don't want the swelling. You get something like this Lycra compression on this sling is like sucking everything in at 3 different pressure points. It's an amazing sling. TikTok shop.
Does it relieve the pain then when it's compressed?
It does. It makes it feel so much better. When it's loose and it's puffy and swollen, it hurts.
Is it worth it?
Well, I don't know yet. I'm not there.
Well, you've done other procedures. I guess it is because you keep going back.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always worth it as long as, you don't get botched.
Because I remember when you did lipo long time ago, and the seeping and the bruising and all that, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I know, right? Just even saying it, I'm like, no, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass. Either I'm going to lose myself or I'm just going to be fat.
A lot of procedures put in a drain afterwards.
Okay, here we go.
And
I just opened the door, didn't I?
Oh,
seeping.
And Denny's put up the no jowl cam. Look at that. He hit no jowl cam. You got no jowls no more.
No gel cam.
Yeah. And Steven sent this in too. We were talking early about the debate on Greenland and how it would benefit the U.S. Is it something that we would take on? And he said, Kevin, you got to get your facts straight. Greenland is a part of Denmark, not Norway. Thank you. You're right. That's absolutely. I misspoke on that. That's just what happens when I'm not prepared. I didn't know Virginia's going to take me down a political avenue. I never prepare for politics.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, you're right. And I was caught off step and off guard, and I misspoke. So that's something that does happen.
Then you pissed off all of our Greenland listeners.
I know, right?
There's only 57,000 people that live there in the whole entire place.
And half of them listen to our program.
Yeah.
It looks like a cool-ass place. They were showing it on TV yesterday because everybody was talking about,
Yeah.
we might take it or buy it, or I don't even know how that works.
It's a debate. I think it has been around for a while. We have Guam, for instance. You're like, why do we need Guam? It's just militarily, it is strategic for us, and you need it for those kind of reasons, and it has that kind of qualities.
Guam, we own Guam.
Guam is U.S. Yeah, we control Guam. So those are those kind of like little places that we have that you want. Hawaii's very valuable for us.
Has anybody ever been to Guam?
I've not. I mean, people have, yes.
I would like to go.
Oh, I got no Guams about it.
Yeah. So you've got all that. Somebody else, Amy, sent a text talking to you about how we were trying to get Cannon's passport. He's now 16, and we had had an appointment to go and check it out. It was the third time we were trying, and the person who was supposed to do it that day just didn't show up. But we all ended up going to Palm Beach Gardens. My wife set another appointment there, and they were lovely in Palm Beach Gardens. But Amy said, Kevin, just a little update on your passport situation. Once they're 16, you only need one parent.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. The Queen was in charge of all that, and she had just said, hey, we've got to both be there. It's a policy they have, so I don't know if that's accurate or not. My wife was all over it, but yeah, she felt
She might have started the process when he was 15.
It has been 2 years we've
said
been
2
trying.
years,
So yeah,
yeah.
maybe she didn't see that. So I don't know. I hope that's a fact. But that really is where we are in life, is trying to get accurate information. And the bold proclamation that was made yesterday by Mark Zuckerberg has gotten a lot of people's attention on here. He went on and said that Meta is going to end its third-party fact-checking program on Facebook and Instagram. Instead of, and in favor, they're now going to go with user-generated community notes. If you listen to, he did a little speech about why he did it, and he basically was saying in that they found that maybe the fact checkers were a little biased. And so as they were checking facts, they were checking it through their lens. And it's debatable. And I will tell you, honestly, that really is the way that it is. Facts, a lot of it are based on your perspective and your point of view. And they were finding that, okay, maybe some things weren't accurate. And we went through a really tough era there, whether it be COVID and all that kind of stuff, where you're trying to get good, accurate information, and it was tough. So this is what Zuckerberg had to say about their fact-checking program.
First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system.
They had fact checkers that had brought in their own bias.
Here's a
That
fact.
is hysterical.
Replace that with my opinion.
Yeah. So on Twitter, they've been doing the community notes, and I'm on Twitter still, not as any kind of political gesture, but just because I'm lazy and I just have everything set up there and it's easy for me.
Not everybody on X or Twitter is being political. Not everybody that has an account there. I keep hearing people say that. You can do other things on there other than political stuff.
This feels like a good job
I do
for
like sports.
AI. Why doesn't AI do the fact checking?
Well, because a lot of times what AI is, it's really just aggregating information that's getting online. And then it's not about whether it's finding accuracy. It's about getting what people have already put down. So you don't know if that original information is right.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Kevin's right. You're asking the robot for all these answers, but you're really getting human answers.
Yes.
I
that
just
the
want the
robots,
truth.
The robots, the robot doesn't have all this all knowing.
That's what's tough. And I think it's going to be interesting to see. But so far, and I being on Twitter, I've seen the community notes and I like it. What I've observed from it is people will say something. Like, for instance, I mainly do it for sports. And, you know, the football guy that I like, Kirk Herbstreit, had said, I never said that. And he got community noted because people put a clip of him on TV saying what he said he didn't say.
Oh, damn.
And it wasn't any, you know, CGI or AI or anything like that.
Was he drunk? Because that happens to me a lot.
But it was just kind of letting them know. They've even done that spoofy little commercial where they throw the flag and like, let's do a replay. Did you really say that? Kind of like what we were talking about. Go back and listen to it. You know, so you throw a flag and you can go back and then people in the community. But that way, at least you hear the full argument. And then you do see biases come through the community notes, but you then see both sides. And I like to hear that because to me, with a fact checker, you were typically getting one side, maybe a more liberal perspective on something. And to me now, and I do politics on the Twitter as well, and you get both sides. And so for me, it helps me come to what I think is a better understanding of what the fact would be.
The truth.
And the arguments on both sides. Yes. So I'm one of those people that I like to hear that kind of stuff. But, you know, as I found out today, just simply mentioning anything about politics, some people do get triggered and they're like, oh, my gosh, they lose
You
their
can't
mind.
even bring anything up.
No.
And a lot of times, it can be just a fringe topic. I always bring up the topic we did with, it was Donald Trump puts ketchup on his steak.
Yeah.
And it was really more of a topic about ketchup on a steak. But the fact that we're bringing up a politician along with, like, we're just talking about steak here. People got pissed off about that.
Yeah, and, you know, somebody's trying to call me out and said, you never once ever mentioned politics ever on the show 10, 15 years ago. And I will, you know, if I got to go back and community note it, I will pull up incidences where, I mean, I used to always play clips of Biden. Remember when he used to goof around and things like that?
We did a bit called
Yeah.
Biden or Bird.
Yeah.
Where did Jaybird say it or did Biden? We've
Right.
always done shit like that since I've been on the show.
And it was fun-loving stuff. It wasn't anything that I think Biden's been very entertaining. So, you know, I think in his own rights, I think Trump is entertaining. But that's where we look at. We want to look at the entertaining side. We're not going to hit you over the heads with how we believe or how you need to vote. But
They're both entertaining for different reasons, and when they do stuff that's entertaining, we do like to talk about it because it's funny.
But the problem is now everything seems to be just a lightning bolt of politics. No matter what it is, no matter what kind of topic you bring up, it seems that everything's either this or that. And life's got nuance, baby. It's not always this or that. There's stuff in between.
well, the person today, they texted and they said, I've been a long-time listener. And they said, if you will not basically, in a sense, promise to stop saying the word Trump, I will never listen. And I said, well, then you got to go. I said, because I'm not going to be held captive by not being able to say a word. And I don't
And
like
he's
that
about
kind of
to be the
censorship.
president.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be a lot of Trump stuff.
You're not going to get far with people when you put them in a corner and say, you got to do it my way. If not, I'm going to leave.
That's what I said. We can't do the show that way. And so it's odd that you would be that triggered by the name. Look, I get it. Not saying I love the dude either, but a lot of people don't like the guy, and I think he knows that. But you can't be that triggered that you can't hear his name because, man, the next 4 years are going to suck really bad for you.
Don't you want to know what's going on out there? Don't you want to know that he wants to buy Greenland? Isn't that valuable information?
I think it's a good little funny side note to know.
I think it's funny. I think it's crazy. I think he wants to buy Canada too, and like that's kind of like what?
And all I said, I don't know if the guy's being real or if he's trolling. It could be one or the other.
But it's entertaining.
But it's what's said. And he, you know what? He's always been good. He's more of a TV guy than I think he is a politician. He's always known how to get his name out there. He's a master marketer, and he still does it.
You're not gonna get a lot of great results in life if you force people to think the way you want to. You want them to think. You're going to turn people off.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, we're not here to beat you over the head with any opinions on it. But if it is in the news and people are talking about it, then there's a chance on any topic that it'll be said on this show. So, I would just say for our audience that is left, hopefully you can go through life and not be that triggered by things. Joe said, yes, I've got a thought on this, referring to earlier. You had the guy who found out through a history search on his wife's computer that she thought he was bad in bed. I was like, okay, so he was going through the history? Because he said he didn't want her to think that he was snooping, but it sounded to me like he was. So Joe, in a sense, has got a correction for me here. He said, you know what? All you have to do sometimes is just type in the first letter of something.
That's what I was trying to say, yes.
Yeah, okay, so that makes sense because I thought he went purposely, let's see what her history is while I'm here. So, yeah, he just started to type something, and then it pulled up the whole line. He's like, wait a minute, she's looking at my husband's bad in bed. So he might have just put my or M.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to. I don't think I articulated it correctly because I've borrowed my friend's laptop before with their permission, and you'll type in just the first, and their history will come up. You go, oh shit, I wasn't supposed to see that.
Yeah.
How do I get rid of chlamydia? Oh, awkward.
Okay.
That can absolutely happen.
And that is something because I'm glad that's in my mind now because, I always have people, make sure that your history is clean if you ever have somebody else on there.
You clear your history or you go into
incognito.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Thank you, yes.
I knew where you were
Why
going.
did you do that?
Because he's a nice guy.
Because I fucked up enough today.
Exactly.
I need to.
And you
I need to
fucked up enough too.
I need to throw out a life. No, Virginia's not made any errors today.
Oh, you're right.
Let's get it straight. Virginia's perfect.
That's right. Her and her smart brain and her hamburger shirt.
Flawless again.
Cheeseburger.
What's it like to do a perfect show every day, Virginia?
I mean, I'm not perfect. I know that.
She's like at 99.9.
I'm like 99.
And that fucking bonnet you have around your head's really annoying me.
It's a strap. It's a post-surgery strap. This thing is amazing. I highly recommend if you're getting a facelift, get this thing. 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Look at that.
Yeah. We're all impressed.
Wait, so when does that segment start? Is it Friday? What sucked?
Worst, yes.
Worst.
And in fact, people need to start letting us know. Yeah, worst of the week is what it's going to be. So it could be verbal flubs. It could be.
I just had one, so I'm in the list.
So I want people to start letting us know what do you think are the worst moments of the week because we're going to count them down on Friday.
The goal is to not have all of the worst moments of the week.
Right. You can have a couple.
Yes.
You just can't have all 5.
It's kind of like a KVJ event. Just don't be the drunkest.
Yeah.
You can't have all 5. If every clip is me, I'll be heartbroken.
You'll be so
No, you're
pissed.
right.
Like,
you hope to have a little balance in there.
But look,
Yeah.
if that's the way it falls,
I got
be-
a few submissions myself.
There will be balance. You know there will.
Yeah.
There will.
Start letting us know if you think there's a really good fun. And the funnier they are, the better, too.
Amen.
Yeah, we do like that. Here's a little advice from Daryl on brushing your toddler's teeth, because producer Denny's going through this right now as a recommendation from his doctor for their 19-year-old Lachlan.
Get on it.
Denny's, just make sure when you're picking out baby toothpaste, you get fluoride-free while he's learning because they can't help but swallow some of it when they're learning. And then when he gets pretty good at it, you can get the toothpaste with fluoride. Hello Bello watermelon flavor is what we use for our little ones, and it is fluoride free.
That's a good tip.
You can get a stomach ache pretty bad.
Yeah, you shouldn't be consuming and eating the fluoride.
Well, we did some kind of a bit that involved toothpaste, and I had to eat some of it, and it jacked me up. It did not feel good.
Remember that time we did toothpaste-filled Oreos? You take out the regular cream and you put in like white toothpaste.
That might be what I'm thinking
I
of.
think you ate like a bunch of them.
Yeah, probably didn't know they had toothpaste in until Cookie 7.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Are these mint?
Well, when you made me that chocolate covered baby sock, it took me about a minute and a half to realize I don't think this thing's breaking.
And I remember the caramel onion.
Caramel onion.
Remember that?
We all had caramel apples except Jaybird. He had a caramel raw white onion.
It was me and Bird in a caramel eating contest, caramel apple eating contest.
I was all jacked up.
Yeah, he was all jacked up, and you know how he's got to win that. And he's just devouring it. He's kicking my ass, but I just started laughing. I'm looking at and it went until he got to the end, and I kind of stopped because I was laughing to him. He's like, "There's a fucking onion."
It was about three.
You went
like
so
halfway, at least halfway
hard.
through.
Oh, at least halfway. I thought you were maybe 3/4 of the way done. You plow way too much into that. It was amazing.
We have that video available somewhere.
That's great.
I'll try to find that.
Yeah, we gotta find that.
We have to find that.
You're not flinching, dude. Yeah, you do. When you're in that mode, there's no taste going on, and he's just getting it down his pie hole.
Beast mode.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
people see red. I see bread.
Yeah, you can keep going with that. Christina in Brooklyn has got a different perspective here on a wedding on New Year's Eve. We got an email on that this week where somebody had one on New Year's Eve and then found out she was getting trashed by some of the people that went to the wedding for thinking that she was, I guess, self-centered, self-absorbed. It's all about me. You know, how dare you take up one of our holiday nights? She thought it would be nice because she had open bar. She ended it at 10, thought it was plenty of time if somebody still wanted to go out and celebrate. So she thought she was all in the good. But I do remember it seemed like the narrative that we had come to at the end was you might want to stay away from holidays when it comes to planning a wedding because you'll find a lot of the people may not enjoy spending it for you. And in a sense, it is, I guess you could argue, self-absorbed, right? Because you're saying, hey, this is a night for everybody where we're going to make it really focused on me.
You better make sure this wedding is so spectacular that it is better than anybody would have been able to put together on their own for their New Year's celebration or 4th of July weekend or Memorial Day. Pick a holiday. Your wedding better be so amazing that people are clamoring to come to it.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Otherwise, you're going to piss 99% of the people off.
look, do your wedding anytime you want, but just don't be surprised if nobody shows up on New Year's Eve or on Christmas Day or on Easter. Whenever you want to do your insane wedding, don't be shocked if no one comes.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is her perspective on this to maybe have you look at it a different way. She said, as somebody who goes to about 5 to 6 weddings a year, me and all my friends, well, she's in that age range of 27 to 32. And I know with my daughter, she's 26 and she's now really starting to get into it. So is my son. So
The age of the first marriage,
Yeah, the age of the first marriage, you're right. So they're really getting into it. I think both of them have several weddings that are on their calendar for this next year.
The expensive, overpriced first wedding.
And traveling and all that
not
stuff,
really
yeah.
in love, but you're kind of panicking because you're getting older.
Definitely a destination wedding.
Yeah, so Christina's there, 5 to 6 a year in that age group, probably realistic if you got a lot of friends. She said, I love New Year's Eve weddings. Everyone wants to get dressed up and party, and an open bar is a perfect place to do it. You have to get dressed up and spend time with these people at a wedding anyway, so you might as well do it on a big drinking day. We've had so much fun at New Year's Eve weddings where your listener went wrong was ending the party at 10 p.m. Then everyone is kind of screwed with no plans for midnight. The successful New Year's Eve weddings I've been to, 2 so far, started late and went until 1 a.m.
See, but you are a New Year's Eve wedding unicorn. There's not a lot of you trotting around out there. Not everyone loves, You say everyone loves to dress up on New Year's Eve. Well, that's not true.
That's not
I know
true.
a lot of people who like to stay in on New Year's Eve.
And pop fireworks in their
Yes.
own yard.
Do you think younger people like dressing up for New Year's Eve more than older people who have been out and done it before and they feel like I'm just over it?
I think it's a mixed bag.
It is a mixed bag,
I don't
yeah.
think it's an age thing. I think
Okay.
it's a personality thing.
I agree because I've never liked going out on New Year's Eve.
Right, I was
I
gonna
like
say.
a party. If you have a contained party of someone you know or at your house, I love that. But going out and doing shit out in the public, fuck that.
I agree. It's overpriced. It's usually a bunch of people you don't know. I would rather have a yard party with like 20 people and you pop your own fireworks, you have your own drinks, they're not overpriced.
Don't they call that rookie night?
It is
amateur
rookie night.
however you want
Yeah.
to phrase it. Yeah, it's basically what it is. And yeah, I think that's why. I think the real seasoned drunks, we're doing it at house parties.
Because we want to wait. We want to get our bottle. And
I don't want to be on the road driving at 1 a.m. with all these people that normally don't drink a lot and now they're driving and they just drank quite a bit. And they normally don't do any of that.
And even if you got the right thing covered and legit.
Even if you have an Uber, I'm telling you, there's so many people out on the road
Right.
that don't drink a
Yeah.
lot until New Year's Eve, and then they're out there driving.
Another factor that I don't like is sometimes you wind up in situations, and look, we're the kind of multiple cocktail people that when you go out, I've noticed it seems like drink prices are more expensive.
They are.
Yes,
And
definitely.
So if I'm going to be like, all right, well, I typically, if I'm going to really go after, I'm going to have 4 or 5 drinks.
Yeah.
How much of a bar tab do I now have?
That's $100.
Yeah, there's no line at the bar at my house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'll save a ton of money. Yeah, to me, the money, just even some of the cover charges that I had seen to get in, to have the right to start spending money on booze, $500, $1,000. I'm like, what?
No way.
Yeah, there were some of the places that I saw that had that. And I was like,
500. You can suck it.
yeah.
We've done events on New Year's Eve, and it's
I
crazy.
like doing like a public event. Like,
yeah, that's fine.
how
yeah.
we've done like Harborside, or if we did like downtown City Place, all that. Like that's fun to me.
Not to bring back that debate with the bucket truck and all that stuff, but that's where we put me. Didn't we do something on a
We
crane?
dropped you,
Crane.
yeah.
We
Yeah,
dropped
we
you
had
like a ball.
Yeah, had a crane that was on the 500 block of Clematis that we had done, and that was fun.
You were the ball.
Yeah,
How
that-
the ball drops in Times Square. I think you had Christmas lights on you.
I did. It was. Yeah.
We need to do that again. That's pretty funny.
It was just so shitty. I'm so scared of heights. I'm like, oh, give me that alcohol. This sounds safe. Yeah, put me up on a crane now.
Whoever loses Do It Bitch the most during the year has to be the ball that we drop on New Year's Eve.
I got a couple balls.
I had some fun today. I liked playing our top 3 songs when we were 10.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was cute.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to be doing a little bit more of. We've had playlist playoff or the perfect playlist. I think we might be doing some of that again. I kind of like those, like little things, just having a topic and having a couple songs on it. It's kind of fun little thing. Amanda said, I was 10 in 2002. My top jams, Avril Lavigne's Complicated and Eminem's Clean Out My Closet. Yeah?
I'm
Big
thinking
that year.
Oh, that's station 1 right there.
Yeah. Jeff, Billy Joel, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
Okay, he's in the 1980s. Nice.
Mm-hmm. And Sarah said, my mom was a dirty hippie, and my 10-year-old playlist had pretty much a lot what Bird did. Tapestry and Carly Simon were also on hard rotation.
Love that album.
Do you? Okay.
Yes, I love. Well, Carole King and James Taylor were really good friends. Not that anyone gives a fuck. And edit yourself now, Bird. That's all I got.
Tell us more about this relationship that nobody gives a shit about.
Even James Taylor and Carole King, like, we don't give a shit. Why are you telling that story?
And Heidi with a couple thoughts of some other bits that she would like to see back in 2025. Hink Pinks. Yeah, I think that's going to be one of those bits where we did it just as an offshoot at some point right towards the tail end of the year. And so I think every now and then that'll come back. Am I Close? Yeah, that's another one. In fact, kind of the way we rotate bits, we have the ones that you'll hear every week or regularly, and then we have the other ones where it's like, you know what, we haven't done that in a while. Let's do it. And it's good maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
I love Am I Close?
Yeah.
That's a
Am I
fun,
Close is fun.
because you have to it's the art of bullshitting.
Well,
It's fun.
And I'm building that. A lot of times when I have the Am I Close, I hear something, I'm like, what the fuck is that? I don't even, like, I've heard it, but I'm like, what is that anyway? I don't even know what that is. So when I have one of those, I write it down. So I'm building enough. I got a few already, so we're probably one more away from doing that. And she said, Family Feud KVJ style. Wow.
Oh, that's fun. I love Family Feud.
That was pretty involved. We haven't done that for a while. And I think that's when we have more players. I don't know if we have enough people to do it the way we did it.
My family doesn't, and half of them are dead.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Mine can't wait to come back and be on the show. My mom is itching.
We could get my dad. My dad would do it.
Yeah. Okay.
We got my dad. All right, we got dad.
Dad. Okay, yeah, we do. Oh, wait, we all got dads.
We do all
Yeah.
dads.
My dad isn't really much of a ha-cha-cha-cha.
Yeah.
My mom is itching to come in here and do something, anything. She's been texting me all morning.
Okay.
She is participatory.
If we ever get cocktails and karaoke back up again.
Oh, she would
her
love
in for
it.
that.
Oh my gosh, that's the main event.
You could have her come out and sing the national anthem to kick it off.
Oh, she would do it right.
She'd be so excited she'd actually piss herself.
Yeah.
And she does have bladder incontinence.
That's where you get it from, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. You're just a pissy pear, huh?
I got it from my mama.
Yeah. Okay.
Is mom cool with that?
I don't think she cares.
She's all right.
She's sleeping right now. She went back to bed.
Good for her. And Robert said, share or shock is another bit that I'd love to see back, at least periodically.
What was that one again?
That was where you had to, remember we'd have the prying questions?
Yes.
And if you did not choose to answer it, you would get shocked. And those are great. The only thing that I will tell you with those bits, and we used to do a lot of those, I really, at least I know for me, I've shared about everything I can. The only other stuff is stuff that would kind of like ruin somebody's life or my family, or it's something you just absolutely cannot say, so you have to take a shock. And so you kind of wound up where we'd have a lot of repeats. Where
Yes. What happened with you and Marianne in Virginia?
either you're hearing the same story all over again, or it's just us denying that. And so that's why that bit, I think, kind of ran its course.
That's exactly why it ran it, because we were getting repeat questions, or
That's all you
if they
have.
were new questions, they were a little soft and weak, and
Right.
yeah.
So to keep that great, and it's not that we chickened out of it. It's just that I think that it,
If the
We've
questions
done all
are
that.
there, yeah, I think it's a fantastic. I think it's a grand slam
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. I just, and who knows, maybe as time goes on and we let it rest, then other things will happen that we don't necessarily volunteer on the show. And we can figure out some good questions for it. So we'll see how that goes. And Mickey in Port St. Lucie said, can you give us more of an update on what happened with Kevin's dad and his house guest? You kind of glossed over it the other day, saying that your dad was doing better and there was peace in the house, but didn't really tell us what happened. We need the details. Yeah, there really wasn't much else to give other than I talked to Dad. He luckily, if you missed it, he had two people that had been living with him for about a year. They came in and she was in a domestic violence situation. So she was trying to get away from her man. And so she moved in my dad. My dad gave her the protection to do that. And, he's got a big enough house. She had her own floor. And then what the hell happened was the abuser then moved in. He moved to town. I'm like,
Wait a minute.
and then they continued to fight, and then he brought a dog, and then they had she
The
had a baby,
baby,
and there was just a ton of
crying.
noise. Yeah, but the reason why there wasn't a lot to say, I just told Dad, I said enough's enough, and he had other people too that he is in his circle, friends and coworkers and whatnot, and they're just like, yeah, you got to get them out of your house. And so he listened to it. He said, you guys got to go. And they're like, okay. And they were cool about it. They left. And so there really wasn't any drama or anything else. It wasn't glossing over it. It's just they left just like that. And I was like, okay, cool. Now, the one thing that's ongoing is I'm now talking with my dad's receptionist, because she's the only one I think will be up front and let me know. But it's just Dad with his spending. Is he handing out money to other people? He said that he will not. And I've not gone to that level where I need to pursue that more so that I can see all the transactions he's making in case he slides one past her and she doesn't know. So I still have not gotten there yet.
He paid those people to leave though, right?
They needed $1,900 for a deposit and he gave it to them.
Gotcha.
And that's where I was like, Dad, enough.
But look, you know what? $1,900 well spent.
Right.
At this point, I mean, he's already given them thousands.
Yeah.
What's an extra $1,900 to get him out of the house?
Are you able to say how old your dad is, or no?
Yeah, no. He's 77, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 26 years older than me. So he's 77. And, you know, he seems to be doing great as well as he ever has. So, but yeah, that's just the thing. You got to keep an eye on it because you just don't know. And I, you know, this is new to me, getting into the aging parent game.
Yes, me too. It's tricky.
And I've seen it because, you know, I watched my dad with his parents, you know, have to deal with it. But, you know, there are things that you got to keep in mind. I was just reading this, that with driving, I remember hearing that discussion. I've heard that before. I've never had to have it. But when you realize that your parents should not be behind the wheel and yet they insist on driving, having that uncomfortable conversation almost, you know, where you go in with an alcoholic and you sit them down and you have an intervention. You have to almost do that sometimes with older people driving. They say 48 million licensed drivers in America are over the age of 65. And 17% of seniors experience a degree of cognitive impairment. And you don't necessarily know who or what, but look, if you don't have cognitive, you probably have hearing or vision issues. Your reflex is slow. There are a lot of factors that go into it that make you not as good of a driver. And I remember with Dad, when he was trying to take me home from my mom's funeral, he pulled down the wrong ramp, the one-way ramp onto the highway. I was like, oh my God, Dad.
We'll be seeing Mom soon.
Yes. I'm like, good Lord. And so I was shaking. He had to drive off into the grass and come back around. And because we had to get to Columbus, he doesn't ever leave he drives 5 blocks to work and back, and that's really about it.
And it was a very high stress time.
Yeah. He doesn't do the highway driving, and so thank God. And that's why I would never have him come meet me in Columbus or anything like that. Because he don't know which way to get onto that freaking ramp.
Wow.
Look, though, but I'm not in my 70s, and I'd probably have a tough time with someone needs to sit me down and go, you need to stop driving.
So they say, doing the math, with 48 million licensed drivers over 65, 17% of seniors have cognitive impairment. So that puts us at 8.2 million seniors right now driving impaired.
My mom's doing it.
That shouldn't be on the road.
My mom.
At least 8.2 million.
I bought her a car. I just paid off this freaking car. I bought her, it's hers outright, gave her the deed. She wrecked it right before she came to visit me. Wrecked it.
So that's where Magnolia gets it from. She
is not necessarily making good decisions. I don't think that she should be driving right now.
Is she in her 70s? Are you allowed to say that?
Early 70s.
Early 70s.
72, I think. She had LASIK eye surgery, and they told her, go home, rest, don't drive. What did she do? She went home, and then she drove to choir practice the same night that she had laser eye surgery on her eyeballs.
But she's got a song in that heart. Let me tell you, she does.
That's right.
She loves to sing, but you know what? I'm worried that she's going to drive head on into somebody and be just lights out.
And I totally understand both sides of it. I understand why you guys would want to not have your parents drive because you're worried.
She wrecked the car and didn't tell anybody that she no longer had insurance. She only has like whatever is required by the state. She has no liability insurance or whatever. So she has to pay $8,000 out of pocket to fix this car.
I also see how, as a human, you don't want to be told you've lost a step. That's a hard thing to.
Sure.
It's like telling a boxer you can't box. You ain't got it no more, kid.
Right.
It's a hard thing to surrender to. Good luck trying to fucking take my keys. I'm a terrible driver.
You look at people that drive impaired. And a lot of times they think they're fine. It's probably about the same thing with older people. They don't recognize their impairment. They don't see it, you know?
They're having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my mom's case, she's in a manic bipolar episode some of the time, not all of the time.
Yeah. So
they love driving.
yeah, they like their independence, you know, and
That's what it is.
When you stop, then you recognize that I am past a necessary phase of life.
Yes.
And there's no going back.
You gotta understand too, their whole adult life, they've been doing things their own way, going about where they want to go. Then all of a sudden, they've got people saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. That emotionally is going to be tough to deal with. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're because you guys are right. You don't want someone on the road that can't drive. But you also got to understand, too, it is hard to realize you ain't got it no more. It's tough.
Yep.
I look at it every day.
I kind of, in a way, this might sound morbid to say, but
shit.
Yeah, here we go.
I'm really glad that my mom's mom, my grandmother, Emma, on her side, I'm glad she went quickly. And I'm glad my mom didn't have to go through all of this because this would have been too much for her. Because I think she was already bipolar in her 50s, in her 60s, and went through bouts of deep depression and then bouts of mania from the bipolar. I think about the dichotomy of, she lost her mother at the age that she is now, 72. And she didn't have to do all the things that now we have to do for her. So it was kind of like a blessing and a curse. Mm-hmm. It's weird to think about.
Yeah. It's life. So it goes.
The circle of life.
Hit the Lion King.
Yeah. And on that, Rose said, hey, not to be a downer, but I lost my dad this past Thursday.
Oh,
By the time you read this, and there she is hugging him at her wedding, she said, I'm going to be at his viewing and memorial service. But one thing that has been keeping me sane has been listening and watching you guys on YouTube. You guys always make my day, especially when going through hard times like today. My dad's name is Larry. He'd listen to the show when I would, and he would laugh at some of the antics that would happen. So love you guys, and I'm going to miss you, Larry.
Oh, let's give him a Larry
You're a good
chant.
dad.
Larry. That's so beautiful. She's in her wedding dress, so he got to see you get married. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I'm sorry to hear about your loss.
Yep, but you got some good blessings and had a great dad, so that's great for you. And also got a nice email here from Jill. This is how I watch the KVJ show in this cold Florida weather. You can see out there she's got her laptop up. She's watching KVJ TV on YouTube. She got the fire pit right there, and she got that big old tumbler.
It's a nice fire pit.
That is cozy.
That is cozy.
Yeah, you can get them easy. I mean, our fire pit, the queen got on the side of the road. Somebody was throwing it out. And it's a lot more broke down than that. But
I feel like
She likes to fix me up.
she does. I don't get it.
I feel
She's
like your wife
very
is related
weird.
to my mom and her family.
Yeah, she's just very, very odd. Her dad always tells her, she's like, you're so much like your grandma. And her grandma was
She was
something.
scrappy, and she just made it
Yeah.
happen. But, if you don't have a fire pit and you want a fire pit, you go out and you figure out how to make a fire pit.
Yeah.
That's a cozy little setting, though.
It
you get the
is.
fire
It's
pit,
nice.
get your drink, get the laptop.
They are. They're cool. Yeah, you got to take advantage of it. Because, I mean, how many days out of the year in Florida do you have fire pit weather? It's
You're right.
Maybe 10. Maybe. So don't waste one of them. And a little bit of help here. We love our perros, our dogs. Veronica sent this in. Unfortunately, hers has been missing since yesterday.
No.
This is Veronica that sent this in. She said, my dog's epileptic and needs meds. Last we know, she was near Okehele Park.
Oh.
So
it's
that'll be
heartbreaking.
that area. Got a little photo here. She is, I don't know what kind that'd be. It's a female. Blah, blah, blah. Kind of a tan. But if you're watching KVJ
little
TV, you can see her there. So if you're in that
sweet
area.
boy.
See it, yeah, just let us know. We'll try to get the word through to them. So
Hopefully the doggy's chipped and somebody found it and you can track it down.
yeah, you definitely need to be doing that kind of stuff. So best of luck on that. Ever need our help or got any kind of comments, you can always get through to us. Just send us those emails, mail@kvjshow.com. Thank you all for being here. Have an amazing Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.